What's going on? You're watching NFL Daily by Chat Sports, and I'm going to hit you with a question here, or maybe a little to-do, if you will. I want you to name a player that you think should get traded, so I want you to scroll on down and comment below, because on today's video, I'm going to give you one player every AFC team should consider trading. Let's go to the AFC North, where we're going to start the show off with a big-name player in Matt Judon, and he was involved in some trade rumors this offseason. You're looking at one of the best outside linebackers in the NFL, which brings a ton of value, obviously. Anytime you have a player of this caliber that's able to get after the quarterback, that does bring some value. The issue here, and maybe why the Baltimore Ravens should potentially trade him, is that he's not there for a long time, and that you could risk losing him in free agency next year and not get anything back. Plus, the Ravens do have some depth at linebacker, so ultimately, if you don't plan on extending Judon for a long time, then maybe you go out and trade him right now. Let's go to the Pittsburgh Steelers here. This is more of a sell-high candidate. Bud Dupree had an excellent season, 11.5 sacks in 2019. However, he did only have 20 sacks in his first 4 seasons combined. Now, maybe I'm a little pessimistic here, but I am not quite sure if you go out and pay him right now $15.8 million that he is going to be able to produce the way that he did in 2019. I think this was a case where he saw that he could make some money, made some money, and now you might go back to see the old Bud Dupree. This is a sell-high candidate for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Time to move to the Cincinnati Bengals now, and I love A.J. Green, and I want A.J. Green, honestly, to stay in Cincinnati. When healthy, he is one of the best wide receivers in the National Football League. But I am not 100% sure if I'm going to invest that type of money in Green because of the long-term injuries that he's had to his body. So you could see the Bengals potentially trade him to a winning team. My AFC trade candidate for the Cleveland Browns, it's David Njoku. And when he first came out of the University of Miami, honestly, I really like this player a lot. Very raw and athletic, and unfortunately for him, did battle a little bit of a wrist injury last season, which really limited him. But what I want all Browns fans and I want all NFL fans to do is kind of go back and watch his tape in 2018 when he was coming off that second year, and he had 56 catches. And he started, in my opinion, to really groom into being a very solid and productive pass-catching tight end, which does bring a lot of value to the National Football League. The issue for him and for the Cleveland Browns, you also have Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham Jr., and now this face, Austin Hooper. The Cleveland Browns brought in Hooper 3 years, $42 million. He's now the highest-paid tight end in the National Football League. And for what does that mean exactly for Njoku? I still kind of think that it might mean for the Browns to maybe move on from him because he still, in my opinion, does have some trade value. If I was an NFL team that needed a tight end, I'll say maybe like the Jacksonville Jaguars, it would be an interesting trade because he is still young and he's only entering now his 4th year into the NFL. So I want to hit you guys with a question here, so scroll on down and let me know. Who is the most likely player to be traded out of the AFC North? You think it's Matt Judon? I want you to type MJ. If you think it's Bud Dupree, give me a BD. A.J. Green from the Bengals, type AJ, or type DN for David Njoku. Could the Dolphins trade Josh Rosen? Throw it in the comments section because he is my next player up here for AFC trade candidates for the Miami Dolphins. Selected number 10 overall in the 2018 NFL Draft. I mean, anytime you have a quarterback selected in the top 10, that, in my opinion, does still at least bring some trade value, and I think that there's an NFL GM. I think that there is an NFL coach out there that believes they could get the best out of Josh Rosen. So he's already been traded twice. Cardinals, first time, didn't work out. Then he went to the Dolphins. That one didn't work out either. But for the Miami Dolphins, you can't really cut him because his contract doesn't really allow you to do that. So now maybe you trade him. Because as soon as you drafted Tua, number 5 overall, you basically just kind of wiped your hands clean of Rosen and said, well, this project's not going to work. Now, I still think Ryan Fitzpatrick does actually have, or I should say Fitzpatrick's the better quarterback than Rosen. But for a quarterback 3, I still think if you look at every single QB3 in the National Football League, Josh Rosen probably brings the most value. And I think that there would be an NFL team, maybe a little bit crazy enough, to trade him. Y'all would be crazy right now to not wear one of these masks or a face mask in general, whether you're going to the supermarket, whether you're walking down the street, or if you're just going to want to go to your favorite team, you can go to chatsports.com/staysafe, where we have face masks you see on screen 3 for only $24.99. I don't leave my house without one, and I will not leave my house without one until the world kind of calms down a little bit. Now, maybe you need one in the next 2 business days. If you go to chatsports.com/staysafe, get one of the single masks that you see on screen right now. They're only $14.99. Listen, I don't like to wear them either, but I got to do it to do my part, and I hope you all do too. It'll be in the comments. It'll be in the description. And remember, stay safe. So NFL fans, well, this is simple. More subs equals more video. So all I want you to do, if you haven't already, hit that big red subscribe button. We would definitely appreciate it. And if you are already subscribed to the channel, send this link that you see below, chatsports.com/ or youtube.com/chatsportstv to a friend and get more subscribers. One of the videos that we really love to do around here are trade destinations. And a player that, well, he's been in a lot of trade talks. It's been Jamal Adams. If you haven't already seen this video on our channel, go check it out, because he's next up here on our list, and it's pretty simple when it came to the Jets. Because he's officially requested a trade, I don't think that there's been a player that we've talked about on NFL Daily that you've seen probably more on television, YouTube, it doesn't matter, involved in more trade rumors than Jamal Adams. You're looking at one of the best young safeties in the league, one of the best young defenders in the league. And I don't know if he gets traded right away, but I do think it's only a matter of time, until the Jets do ultimately trade Adams. Next up here for the New England Patriots, Joe Thuney. Yes, he was franchise tagged by the Patriots, and if I'm him, I'm saying, hey, no matter what, I am going to make some money this offseason, because at the tag, his current value, he'd be the second highest paid offensive guard in the National Football League. But the fact that he has been linked to so many trade rumors is because he's not really happy, and he wants an extension. And really, him and the Patriots, they have not made much progress since March. Not really a good sign. Also, with everything else going on in the world right now, I don't know if that was the thing that the Patriots had on their highest of their list. So, all right, let's now go to the Buffalo Bills. Trent Murphy. Final year of his 3-year deal, and this one's not going to be easy because he's set to make $10 million, and let's just be frank here, Trent Murphy is not worth that amount of money, and I think that could be a major issue for him. But if I'm Buffalo, I don't know if he's going to make the team. So if I have a player that I don't know if he's going to make the team or not, maybe you try to trade him. So a lot of times when you see situations like this with a team where if they don't know if they're going to keep him or not, that's when some trade rumors, they do start to pop up here and there. Now, he did have an okay year for last season, 36 tackles, but Buffalo had a little bit more depth in the draft. They had a little bit more depth in free agency. Trent Murphy, to me, he's the player that I think has got to get going. So we're going to do this question again, but this time for the AFC East. Josh Rosen, Jamal Adams, Joe Thuney, Trent Murphy. I want you to scroll on down if you're watching this video on YouTube. I want you to scroll on down if you're watching this on Facebook. And let me know, out of the 4 players that you see on screen, who's most likely to be traded. Let's move now to the AFC South, and if you haven't figured it out yet, I'm going division by division. Yannick Ngakoue for the Jacksonville Jaguars, another very simple one. Also, another player I thought about throwing in here was Leonard Fournette. Let's face it, Jags, you're not in win-now mode, and I think most Jacksonville fans, they would agree to that. So for Yannick Ngakoue, who's made it very, very obvious that he wants to be traded, and for the Jags, maybe you could get a first-round pick. Maybe you could add even more picks to your future. Because for a player who's already threatened to hold out, I don't know if I'd ultimately keep him on the team and then lose all the trade value. Because every single day that Yannick's not traded, I think his trade value actually keeps continuing to go lower, lower, and lower. Let's now go to the Houston Texans, where Bill O'Brien's stock has been going. Maybe the Texans could trade him. So when Houston went out and traded for Brandon Cooks, and they kind of did it because they shot themselves in the foot, in my opinion, by trading away DeAndre Hopkins, you also signed Randall Cobb in free agency. So where does that leave Kenny Stills? That kind of leaves him a little bit lower on the depth chart. And if I'm really looking at talent, I think Will Fuller, when healthy, of course, is a better version of Kenny Stills. So for me, I don't know if I'm going to pay Kenny Stills a $7 million price tag. Maybe a team that needs a wide receiver can go out and trade for Kenny Stills. It's time now to go to Corey Davis of the Tennessee Titans, the number 1 wide receiver drafted in the 2017 NFL Draft. Still could bring some trade value, in my opinion, but for Tennessee, you see them, they've already kind of moved on from Davis being that number 1 wide receiver, and now that's A.J. Brown's job, which, kudos to A.J. Brown, he 100% deserves it. So the Titans, they've already declined his 5th-year option, which I do think is a major note here. So for them not to bring him back next season, maybe he has a breakout year, and then they reconsider bringing him back. But right now, it's all looking for Corey Davis, and if I'm the Titans, I'm going to go out and at least try to get as most value as humanly possible. Indianapolis Colts, they're next up here on my list of AFC trade candidates, and I have Marlon Mack. Marlon Mack is a running back that I actually do really like a lot, and I liked him a lot when he first came out of USF. He's battled some injuries, went on the field, he's been productive, and I think he's actually a great fit for that offensive line. Yes, most running backs are probably pretty good behind that offensive line. But as soon as Indianapolis traded up for Jonathan Taylor, running back out of Wisconsin, and he's got all the numbers in the world, that to me says one thing, that we are going to put Jonathan Taylor above Marlon Mack, and you already have Nyheim Hines. That kind of leaves Mack as that RB3, which for me, a guy coming off a 1,000-yard rushing season, I think Indy could potentially move on from him. So we're sticking here in the AFC South. Who is the most likely player to be traded? You're seeing where I'm going here with this. Yannick Ngakoue, type YN. Kenny Stills, KS. Corey Davis, type CD or DVD. Marlon Mack, I want you to type MM. Scroll on down and let me know. I'm going to give you this chance one more time to go out and get some NFL face coverings because all we're trying to do here at Chat Sports, trying to get football back as quick as possible, but we're also telling you, all of our viewers, to go out there and stay safe. You know, not just for you. If you want to get a 3-pack, like I got one for me, my mom, my dad, you can get one for your sons. I mean, they fit. You know, you got to get one for your daughter as well. Bottom line is I'm just trying to help you all stay as safe as humanly possible. The 3 that you see on screen, only $24.99. If maybe you're making a trip like I am, I need mine in 2 business days. That's where you can get that single face mask, and you can get the 3-pack, the single, all at the link below, chatsports.com/stay safe. The last division that we'll hit here in the AFC is the AFC West, and I liked what Damian Williams actually brought to the Kansas City Chiefs, but if I'm the Chiefs, I'm saying this. I think his trade value right now is at an all-time high due to his Super Bowl performance. And now, I get that Patrick Mahomes won Super Bowl MVP, but if you actually watch the game, in my opinion, it actually deserved to go to Damian Williams. But the Chiefs drafted Clyde Edwards-Helaire, running back out of LSU at number 31 overall. Williams is in the last year of his contract, and as much as I think Williams does fit that offense, trade Williams now and get the most that you possibly can for him. Time now to go to Melvin Ingram of the Los Angeles Chargers, and he's still one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. He's set to make $17 million this season, so why would the Chargers trade him? Well, the only way that the Chargers trade him, in my opinion, is if they still believe that they are in rebuilding mode, right? You drafted Justin Herbert, number 6 overall. Maybe you still think that you're in rebuild mode where you can't quite compete with the Chiefs and you can't quite win this year. So maybe you trade him, get some extra draft capital, and save some money. But if you're Los Angeles, you're like, wait a minute. We finished first in this division in 2018. We have the roster. Then honestly, you don't trade Melvin Ingram. The Denver Broncos are next up with Deshaun Hamilton and wide receiver out of Penn State. The amount of talent that the Denver Broncos added in the draft this year is pretty crazy. Plus, they also drafted Noah Fant, a tight end that I absolutely loved out of Iowa last season. So you're looking at Hamilton, who could be the 4th wide receiver on that depth chart, but realistically could be like the 6th, maybe 7th target in terms of just overall targets this season when you also look at the running backs that they added. He did show some flash to be a halfway decent, reliable wide receiver 3. So if you're a team out there that's just searching for a cheap wide receiver 3 that you can add to your team, I think you should call up the Denver Broncos. The last team that I'll talk about here, it's the Las Vegas Raiders. And I thought about throwing Tyrell Williams in here. It makes it difficult with contract. Also, LaMarcus Joyner, difficult with contract. But Gabe Jackson, in my opinion, is a player that I think could be traded because of the amount of trade rumors that you saw Jackson in free agency before the draft. They also drafted John Simpson in round 4, a player that they absolutely love. The way that this gets tricky, though, for a team that goes out and trades for Jackson, you're going to have to pay him $9.35 million. That's a lot of money for a guy who played in only 11 games. Sure, when fully healthy, he's great, but he has been dealing with some injuries, and I think the Raiders should try to move on from him. So who's the most likely player traded out of the AFC West? And remember, I want you to go down, type either DW for Damian Williams, MI for Melvin Ingram, type DH for Deshaun Hamilton, or type GJ for Gabe Jackson. If you made it this far in the video, remember that we go live every Monday and Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, so hit that sub button and turn on your notifications.